So as you all know, it has been absolutely soul-destroying to witness what MAGA is willing to defend. I mean, I said it the other day, but you guys know, I think if Trump actually nuked Greenland or nuked Panama, I think maybe for the first 2 days, maybe 3 days, people be a little iffy on it in the MAGA world. But after about a week, they would all start to defend it. And then a year from then, it would be literally all of them defending it. And it would be like 30% of the country that's like, well, of course we should have nuked Greenland. Duh. And I say that because look at what they've already defended. They defended murder caught in 4K from 17 different angles. They defended that. They defended sending people to concentration camps in El Salvador. We literally did a video the other week. It was Jesse Waters on Fox News, like joking and giggling about the creation of concentration camps, I think it was. Right? So if they're willing to defend that, if they're willing to defend abducting a sovereign leader of a foreign nation that wasn't going to attack us in the middle of the night and carpet bombing the Capitol and killing an 80-year-old grandma in the process, what won't they defend? They will defend anything. If they brought themselves to defend January 6th, what makes you think they'll draw the line at anything else? There is nothing they won't defend. There's nothing they won't defend. So now, we're not only defending different horrific policy choices, now they've crossed the line into full-on North Korea-style silliness and goofiness where they pretend like, this guy's superhuman, bro. Trump is like aging in reverse and stuff, bro. So here, let me break this down for you. We have a clip from Fox News, and just buckle up for it. Here we go.
The president also touched on the current state of the economy and how he thinks his legacy will stack up against Oval Office heavyweights like Honest Abe and good old George Washington.
Okay, let me just pause to point out. Every time I turn on Fox News, there's some new AI-generated ass bitch that they plucked out of obscurity that they probably had, you know, the executive producer or the new CEO or the owner fucking sexually harass her or molest her in some fucking janitor's closet and they gave her the job. Like, what is this? And what is going on there? They just always bring out these young girls who don't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to politics, and they go, read the teleprompter, toots. That's what this is. That's what this is. Is anybody under any illusion that it's anything but that? A new one every other week. There's a new one every other week.
I'm starting to get great polls on the economy, which I think is...
The polls on the economy they're not great.
They should be great. I'm a smart guy. I know the economy better than almost everybody.
Do you think at one point people will talk about you when they talk about presidents like Washington and Lincoln? Is that something you think is going to happen?
All I know is this. It's such an honor. But all I know, I'm walking down, and everyone's screaming, goat, goat. I said, what are they talking about? I hope they're right. Not for me, but for the country. Because if I do a great job, that means the country is doing well.
I despise the humble brag. I think I'm the best. Not for me do I think that. For the country, it's actually good. It's for the country. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
And sorry, Democrats, President Trump says he is aging in reverse.
Really? That's how you're going to set up the clip? That's what he says. Here it is. All right, next thing. How many more body parts of his have to, like, rot right in front of our eyes and fucking fall off for you to be like, I don't know, I think we have an issue here. I think we might have a problem. Hey, his hand looks like it has fucking gangrene. I think we have a problem. It looks like there's some exotic tropical fucking infection that's rotting off his limbs. Is that healthy? Hey, why is there 17 pounds of makeup caked onto his hands, which look like they were some fucking gross, deep purple-ass color? This is how you... Dear leader says he's aging in reverse. Here's dear leader saying that. Oh, dear leader, so young and vibrant. Oh, my God, what the fuck?
Hey, Democrats, President Trump says he is aging in reverse.
I feel great. I mean, physically and mentally, I feel like I did 50 years ago.
I'll have what he...
The fact that he's saying this, you know damn well means homie is struggling like a motherfucker. By the way, there's actual data on this. He's now starting his days later than he did in his first term and ending his days earlier, right? The other day when he posted the thing of Michelle Obama and Barack Obama as monkeys, somebody in the White House said, quote, he's off his meds. This is what we're looking at now. This is what we're looking at now. Dear leader is feeling better than anybody has ever felt. In fact, dear leader thinks he will live longer than anybody. Like, what is this? What is this? Come on, man. She's not done yet, by the way. Listen.
I'll have what he's having. Harold Benjamin Button. What do you think about him compared to Honest Abe, good old George Washington?
She said, I'll have what he's having. What he's having is about 2.5 weeks before he's underground. That's what he's having. What he's having is an existential crisis. Like when, what was the thing he said? He's like, I want to get into heaven. That's why I'm doing all these things. I want to get into heaven. It's like he's admitting, oh, I know something's up. In his more honest moments, that'll slip out. But the other time, he's like, actually, I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm healthy. So, by the way, the bruising on the hands, that's not nothing. Now, they lie and say, oh, he hit his hand on a table, or actually, he shook somebody's hand very vigorously, and that's why that happened. No, guys, he's getting injections. He's getting injections into his hand. Now, they're lying and covering it up and not telling us what kind of injections, right? But the fact of the matter is, a bunch of people looked into it, and they found out the intervals that he's getting the injections, it's roughly every 2 weeks. Okay, well, guess what? That's how often you inject this drug called Leqembi. Leqembi is for early stage Alzheimer's, okay? Well, Donald Trump's dad had Alzheimer's. He died at age 86 with Alzheimer's. It got so bad that they literally gave him a desk and an office and gave him fake paperwork to make him think he was still CEO and still in charge as everybody else ran the business. Because he was that far gone mentally, he refused to relinquish any control, so they let him play CEO man in the corner, and they handled the real business. What does that sound like to you? Doesn't that sound like something we should be doing right now with Donald Trump? So understand, because of his dad's history, Trump's risk is now 3 to 15 times higher to get Alzheimer's because of his dad. His nephew says he sees signs in Trump already, okay? The first thing to go with early Alzheimer's is impulse control. There's behavioral disinhibition. Like, for example, screaming "quiet piggy" at a female journalist, or saying "you're a stupid person" to a journalist, or stopping a town hall event to randomly DJ the event and sway back and forth to Ave Maria as everybody looks around confused. So this is what's going on. There's this thing called confabulation. It's known as honest lying. That happens with early stage Alzheimer's. That's what he does all the time. Memory lapses happens all the time. When he was doing an interview with, I think it was New York Magazine or Washington Post, he said, my dad had that thing. What's it called again? And he points to his head. Ironic, isn't it? Saying my dad had Alzheimer's, forgot the word Alzheimer's when talking about Alzheimer's. There's a decline in verbal complexity with Alzheimer's. That's exactly like Trump. Repetition and fixation. Still talking about the 2020 election. That's exactly like Trump. Sundowning. Needs to stop his days earlier. Exactly like Trump. Gait abnormalities. Can't walk straight. That's exactly like Trump. And here's Fox News going, dear leader is aging in reverse. This is not news. This is not news. Anybody who's watching Fox News, you're fucking cooked, bro. Just give up. Just give up. Honestly, at this point, watching Fox News is no different than going on Facebook and looking at like the AI slop images of like a horse with 7 legs with a woman with no arms on top of it going, I need husband. Can be husband mine? Or like the AI slop that's all over Facebook that people look like, and people who are 78 years old and aren't allowed to see their kids anymore are responding in the comments like, I feel so sorry for this woman with no arms. Those are the people that watch Fox News and have brain poisoned about 40% of this country beyond recognition, beyond belief. But I'm still not done, because then we get Michelle Bachmann adds to this. This is another one of these stupid fucking right-wing slop networks. There's One America News, there's Newsmax, there's, I think, Real America's Voice, there's, of course, Fox News. And now Michelle Bachmann says something similar. Listen to this.
They see Gavin Newsom as this big beauty, but I would say I'd put up Donald Trump against him any day. I mean, here you have Donald Trump, who's in his very late 70s. The guy is absolutely handsome, incredible shape. He's married to the most beautiful woman.
The guy is handsome and in incredible shape. That motherfucker is obese and gelatinous. And he's also a pedophile, rapist, and a war criminal. And his wife was allegedly trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, okay? What is this? What's the point of this? I swear to God, these conservative Christians, these evangelical fundamentalist Christians, they have replaced Jesus with Trump when it comes to their Lord and Savior, okay? I'm sorry, you can't scream and cry and whine and bitch and moan about how immensely Christian you are and then support sending innocent children to concentration camps, which is exactly what's happening under the ICE Gestapo thugs. Okay, you can't support warmongering and imperialism and stealing other countries' oil while saying, I love Jesus and I go to church every Sunday. Fuck off with this nonsense.
Absolutely handsome, incredible shape. He's married to the most beautiful woman in the world. And I'd put Donald Trump up against Gavin Newsom any day of the week. And Gavin wouldn't even be in the same league as Donald Trump. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, sweet Jesus, we're so cooked, bro. We're so cooked, bro. It's so funny because I think everybody, to one extent or another, had in the back of their minds the "it can't happen here" idea. Especially the younger you get, the more naive you are, the more you look at, like, you know, Nazi Germany and go, well, that can't happen here at least, so that's good, right? But then as time goes by, you go, oh, there was this book we had to read in college called Ordinary Men about how ordinary people can wind up doing the Holocaust. And I remember arguing with the professor and being like, no, but this is not ordinary. This is extraordinary. And this is fucking evil and wrong and terrible. And we need to call it out and say what it is. And basically the professor was like, yeah, no, I get it. It is evil. It is wrong. It is horrible. But let's not pretend like they were unique and special in how evil they are. Like human beings have the capacity to be like this is kind of the point. And now you look around and you go, oh shit. Basically, the MAGA base is no fucking different. Actually, even worse, I would say, than the people in North Korea who worship Kim Jong-un. And they say goofy shit like he's never taken a shit. And they say stuff like, oh yeah, his dad, Kim Jong-il, he shot like 11 under the first time he played golf or whatever. Like you look at that and go, how does anybody fucking believe that? Well, in North Korea, I think they know, hey, the consequences if you say you don't believe that are dire. And you can be fucking like killed or put in a concentration camp. So everybody pretends and goes along with it, right? But here, it's like, no, we actually have 35% of the country that believes the shit about Trump. They believe he's actually young and spry and in the best shape he's ever been, and he's handsome, and he's gorgeous, and he's amazing, and he's the best president since Abraham Lincoln or George Washington or whatever. Like, they actually say this shit, and I think many of them actually believe this. They've bought into, it's like, they wanted to buy into the show. They wanted to buy into the theater. They wanted to believe in something bigger and better than them. And I always said this about Trump. He's like kryptonite for mediocre old white men. Because, you know, they like the idea of here's this boss man who takes no shit from anybody, who bosses everybody around, and he's the CEO, he's in control, he makes the decisions, and everybody listens to him. And that's how they want to see themselves, right? They know they're mediocre. They know they have whatever jobs, right? They know they're not that impressive to fucking anybody. And it's this thing where they see themselves in Trump like he's what they wish they could be, right? They wish they could go on Epstein Island and fuck a 16-year-old, right? That's what they wish they could do. They wish their wife fucking worshipped them and shut up and made a sandwich and blew him. Like, this is what it is. And so he's old white man kryptonite. They see that in him. So they buy into the show. They buy into the theater. They like the idea of he's a bigger, holier man than I am, and he's what I am at my highest aspirations, which is just a totally selfish, narcissistic prick who makes the world revolve around him and cuts corners and cheats like a motherfucker and forces everybody to genuflect at his altar, right? And that's where we are. This is where we are now. So Michelle Bachmann is totally cooked. The Fox News hosts are totally cooked, and they will be saying this until the day he dies. And then the day he dies, they will come up with all sorts of conspiracies about how he was poisoned and it was, you know, this wasn't a natural death and he was actually in amazing shape. And this is where we are in this country. This is where we are in this country. The, like, objectively, the least impressive man on the planet was able to build up a cult. Because in some ways, he's the ultimate American, right? Entertainment brain, capitalism brain, putting on the show of the big boss man, the reality TV star guy. In some ways, he's as American as fucking apple pie. But, you know, the news I have for the right is, so is Martin Luther King. And we'll represent that philosophy and that ideology and that version of America over this fucking hollow, disgusting, vapid, narcissistic, cheating, you know, capitalist, exploitative bullshit version of America.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.